So today we're going to be looking at a guitar kit. Yes, another one. You guys know how much I love building guitars. You probably know how much I love guitars in general and gear in general. But I've built quite a few guitars and some from kits. Most notably, the last one was a Kramer Eddie Van Halen style guitar that I put together from a kit, and it turned out so well, it just gave me the itch to build another one. So I was considering either going with another EVH style guitar, possibly the black and white striped guitar. But then when I thought about it, I said, you know what, if I'm going to be putting in that kind of effort, let's go the full Monty. Let's go Frankenstrat. So I decided to search for a guitar kit that would be well made, inexpensive, easy to mod according to the specs that I need, and of course be able to arrive quickly because I want to get this thing started. And I found just the kit that would fit the build. It's from Bad Cat Instruments, and you may have heard about this company called Bad Cat. They make guitars overseas in China. There's a few people that have reviewed their full-blown factory-made guitars, fully finished guitars that they sell. I haven't had the opportunity to try one yet, but maybe in the future I will. They look like they're good guitars. They look decent for the money that they charge. So if you go to badcatinstruments.com, you might not see it right away, but if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, practically, there's a section there where they sell kits. And the kit that I'm going to be showing you today is called the ST Caster. Now, at first glance, the guitar looks really, really good. Now, I put it together, I put the neck and body together for you guys just because I wanted to be sure that everything fit together properly. And this is probably the most important section of the guitar build right here, how the body fits with the neck and vice versa. And I'm happy to report that the neck body joint is flawless. Really, really looks good. I'll show you some detailed photos of this in a minute, but we're going to be talking about the entire thing. Let's start off with the body. The body is a Strat style guitar. As you can see, routed for 3 single coil pickups, 1, 2, 3. And it's important to note that these are routed for single coils. And for me, it's quite a nice thing to see, because often on these very inexpensive kits, they take shortcuts and they do what they call a swimming pool route, which is just a big rectangular hole. The reason why they do that is because then you could put in humbuckers, you can put in single coils and humbuckers. It covers everything because you can basically fit everything in there. But to me, it's not as elegant. I like to see the single coil route. So if you're looking at building more of a classic vintage style Strat, you pull off the pick guard, it's nice to see the single coil routing in there, in my opinion. So that's really a nice thing right off the bat that I noticed, and it's really routed very cleanly. I mean, everything seems really nicely rounded off. There's no unsightly chipping or things within the routing that sometimes get left behind on these cheaper guitars. You don't see that here. Front and back, very cleanly done, nicely aligned, no misaligned holes, no misaligned screw holes or routing here. Sometimes, guys, that's what you get on these very inexpensive kits, and I'm surprised that this one at this price range does not suffer from any of that. Now, one of the things I want to mention here is that you'll notice that there's no holes drilled on the top of the body here for the pick guard. There's only actually 2 little holes drilled here to hold the pick guard in place. Everything else you will have to drill. For me, that's a huge advantage because often I don't really go with the hardware that comes with these kits. Let's face it, guys, at $108, you can't expect the hardware to be fantastic. It'll get you a working guitar, but oftentimes you're probably better off upgrading the hardware if you want to get some serious playtime out of the kit. Now, we'll look at the hardware later on. For now, I just want to talk about the body itself and the way the neck is built and whatnot. But as I was saying, the fact that there's no holes drilled means I don't have to fill in these holes if I'm going to be using a different pick guard. And, it saves me time. So more flexibility, that's a good thing in my opinion. Now everything's aligned properly. The holes are nicely drilled here. They don't go too crazy, but you can see that the holes here do go all the way through the back. I don't know why they necessarily did that, but you know, it's just something I'm going to show you. The routing and the back here should be large enough to fit a big block bridge. And other than that, all the roundovers are nicely done. The tummy tuck here, as well as the little armrest here, nicely done. Roundovers, very beautiful. There's no burn marks. You know, sometimes when they route this thing out, they go a little bit crazy with the router and you end up getting some burn marks. There's no unsightly knots and badly glued pieces of wood where you see the glue seepage. It's very clean. I have really no complaints about how this body is put together. Now, this body is made of basswood. It's not maple, it's basswood. And I have nothing against basswood at all. I think basswood is a great material to work with. It's even very light, which I like because I'm getting old and my old back doesn't appreciate heavy guitars all that much anymore. So basswood is a good wood to work with. For those of you that have to finish the guitar, as I do, basswood is good because the grain is relatively tight. So because the grain is tight, you don't have to worry about too much grain filling, too much sanding. So it kind of gets you to where you need to go to prep the body properly for painting without going too crazy. It probably will use a little bit of sanding just to get everything nicely prepped before the paint job. But other than that, I don't see anything else that you need to worry about in terms of working with this body. So that's super. Now let's talk about the neck, because the neck is obviously one of the most important parts of the guitar kit. And oftentimes that's where the guitar kits fall short in this price point because they cut corners. Now, I'm happy to say the guitar neck looks really nice. It's a maple neck. It's got a nice maple fretboard. The back of the neck is also maple. You can see it has a skunk stripe there. It's not a painted fake skunk stripe. It's actually a real one. The body and neck joint, as I said earlier, is flawless. I would be hard pressed to slip in a piece of paper between the neck and the body joint. It really is that nicely done. I'll take some detailed shots of that so you can see it for yourself. Now, the neck feels really nice. It has a nice overall profile. I like the fact that it's not finished, it's raw, so I probably will leave it that way for the Frankenstrat build. Less work for me to have to, like, you know, sand things off to make them look authentic. The frets on the guitar seem to be medium-sized frets. You know, extremely tall. They're rather low, but they're wide, which is good. The inlays are black, simple black inlays there. You also have the side dots, and I'm happy to report that there is no fret sprout whatsoever. I hate taking these guitars out and feeling like I'm running my hand over a cheese grater or something like that. So there's none of that on this neck. Now, when I pass my fingers over the frets, they're not super smooth. I mean, they need to be polished, and I'm not surprised. Honestly, guys, at this price point, I always expect to at least have to do a fret polish. Now, as far as fret leveling, I can't really tell you at this point. I haven't really taken out the fret rocker to see whether or not there would be any fret leveling to do. But even if there is, that's something I normally do with kits anyways, just to make sure I'm starting from a clean slate, good foundation. So I recommend probably doing that if you're going to be building your guitar. Now, one of the things I gotta say is that up here at the neck headstock, it is a bone nut, which is nice to see on these kits. Often they're plastic, they're pretty garbage, but this one is bone. Now, it's a shame I won't be using it because the Frankenstrat build I'm gonna be putting together, I'm gonna have to route this out for to adapt a locking Floyd Rose nut. But I'm gonna recoup that this really nice bone nut and probably use it somewhere else eventually. The headstock is wonderful. Strat style headstock, guys. That is rare these days because Fender sues the pants off companies that don't have the right to use this. But it looks like Bad Cat Instruments either has the right to use it or is using it anyway, and that's what I need for my build. I need that profile. So if I had to go out and buy a body and a neck at this price, I probably wouldn't be able to get something, you know, for 180 bucks or 100 bucks, 108 bucks. I mean, this kit is 108 bucks, guys. You know, 108. Think about that. 50 bucks for a neck, 50 bucks for a body, shipping, handling. That's really, really affordable. So I'm not gonna be too picky in terms of, you know, any little defects, but I'm happy to say there are none so far. I mean, everything seems quite legit. The holes are drilled really nicely in the headstock. There's no blowout or burn marks there either. The truss rod is at the top here, and the hole for the truss rod is nicely drilled. Sometimes on these cheaper kits, they look like they were chiseled out. You know, it really is not. It's a little scary sometimes, but this isn't. It's done very well. So the slab is maple, nice and thick, evenly done. And so far, guys, as far as what I can see, this neck seems to be a keeper. Now, if you want to talk about hardware, I mean, honestly, guys, I'm not going to lie to you. Often on these kits, the hardware is lacking. It's not going to give you, they're not going to give you the best hardware for 100 bucks. You can't expect that. You know, so the hardware that comes with the kit will get you up and running, will, you know, give you a guitar that you can play. But, you know, if you want to build something where you're going to want to get longevity out of it and a lot more satisfaction, then by all means, upgrade the kit and put in what you want. Now, the good news is, I mean, you can recuperate some of the hardware. The guitar pickguard that comes with it is a really nice 3-ply pickguard in white. It's got some shielding on it. The pickups in here are single coil running. I can see here they have ceramic magnets, so not high-end pickups. I haven't tried them myself, so I couldn't say how well they sound, but I will definitely probably keep the knobs, keep the switch knob. The actual pick guard will be handy for another build for sure. The knob pots are mini pots, and the switch is one of those generic switches that you get on those import guitars, so nothing really to wow you here, but at least you have some reusable parts for either this build or another build down the line. I have to say, this is an awesome kit. I'm super excited to start the build. I can't wait. There's going to be some heavy duty routing to do, some heavy duty relicking to do, heavy duty like dirtying up the guitar and whatnot. But I can't wait. It's going to be a really, really fun build. Now I just have to source a Floyd Rose at an affordable price, because the Floyd will probably cost me 3 times what I paid this kit. But hey, it's all in good fun, and I really am looking forward to building this Frankenstrat. So if you're interested in following the build, then definitely subscribe to the channel, because I'll be putting up some videos and photos of the build as it's progressing, guys. If you guys are considering building a guitar kit, then definitely check out this